So yes, it has been just announced that President Biden wants to bring back monthly checks to families in the tune of $3,600 per year or $300 per month. Now, I will address that in just a second, but today was a very big day. And the reason for this is because today, President Biden unveiled his federal budget for the fiscal year 2024. Now, this budget, it was shocking to some Democrats, and it was shocking to almost all Republicans. But why? Well, the reason it was shocking is because it had to do with some of the pieces within the proposed budget. President Biden proposed tax increases that would bring in about $5.5 trillion over the next 10 years. And even though Republicans asked for deficit reductions, President Biden decided to include additional spending with tax increases to offset that spending. That's part of the problem. Now, this doesn't mean that these payments to families is going to pretty much be axed. No, there's bipartisan support here. Now, the reason why this is such a big deal is because of what President Biden proposed. Now, yes, there are tax increases, but the big one that's going to help millions of families is President Biden is adamant on bringing back the $3,600 child tax credit payments. These are the monthly payments of $300 per month for children ages 0 through 5 and $250 per month for children ages 6 to 17. Again, this was a very big deal when this was first introduced and then passed back in 2020. So again, this is 2021. This was a major bill, right? Now, the budget that President Biden had just proposed, this isn't going to get passed, not as it currently stands. However, there's a strong possibility that the monthly tax credit for children, this is going to come back because again, there's bipartisan support here. Over the past year, we have seen the poverty rates of children increase each and every month. We've seen families are really hurting simply because of the amount of money that's going out to bills and to food and rent and things like that. Now, here's the worry. The worry amongst lawmakers today is that the reduction in SNAP benefits, this is going to be so severe that many children are going to dive deeper into poverty than ever before. That is a problem. And this is why there has been bipartisan support. And so personally, I feel this is something that is going to get passed eventually. We are going to see monthly payments to the lower income households here in the United States that have children. Now, food is getting so expensive, wages are not keeping up with inflation, and additional benefits are going away. This is a recipe for disaster. So, President Biden bringing back this monthly child tax credit payment, this is huge. But according to reports, they feel that this is an opportune time. Now, what we know is the child tax credit, it proved that this was a valuable tool. It was so valuable when it first came out. And people were waiting. Households were just waiting until I believe the first payment came out in June or July. And when the first payment came out, people were just ecstatic. They were so excited because the poverty rates fell. People were able to pay, some of their debts. We were seeing people were able to buy food. They were able to pay their rent. It was a massive, massive win for households with children. In the first month, this program fed more than 2 million additional children. It also kept 3 million children out of poverty. And according to the U.S. Census Bureau, they say that the child poverty fell to a record low of just 5.2% back in 2021. This was 9.7% in 2020. So obviously you can see, we almost cut it in half. That's great news. And there's no denying that the $3,600 expanded child tax credit has helped millions of households. I think we can all agree it has. The problem here isn't who is this helping. The problem is how is this going to be funded? It's the exact same problem as before. Republicans are asking for a balanced budget. That's not what they got. That is not what President Biden proposed. So within the next month, we're going to have the Republican proposal as well. We're going to be able to look at President Biden's proposal, what he just addressed. We're going to look at the Republican proposal, what they are considering cuts on their side. And we will be able to look at those and see, and again, I'm just going to tell you this, warn you, we're probably not going to see any tax increases from the Republican proposal, at least not to offset additional spending. Could we bring down our deficit? Potentially. But again, we don't know. That is something that President Biden also said, is that until we have the other budget, until we have the other side's proposal, we don't know what they're considering. The American people have no clue what they're considering making cuts to. We do know there will not be cuts to Social Security. There will not be cuts to Medicare. We are likely not to see cuts to military spending. It will be somewhere else. And the big ones, okay, first off, they're still trying to get the claw money back from the IRS, but the big one that we continue to spend money on is SNAP benefits. Here's the problem there. If we cut SNAP benefits, remember what I just said, that lawmakers are worried that right now, because we are seeing benefits get reduced for SNAP, for food assistance, right? Food stamps. That's being reduced, right? We don't have this huge child tax credit payment anymore. We don't have it. It's not there. So if we were to include this $3,600 expanded child tax credit payment, would this mean we could actually do away with some benefits for people on food stamps? According to reports, the answer is yes. So I bring this up because at this time, that is what we're expecting. We're expecting cuts to the SNAP benefit program. If this is the case, and even if it's just we have to make the eligibility a little bit more strict, so people have to make less money in order to be eligible for food stamps, if that's the case, it's going to cut off probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of families from getting additional food stamps. So the thing there is, if we do away with that, and that's a cut that Republicans want to make, well, the Biden administration is adamant on including this expanded child tax credit payment of up to $3,600 per year. Again, $3,600 per year for children aged 0 through 5, and it would be $3,000 per year for any child between the age of 6 and 17. So again, it's going to be interesting to see how this budget is going to impact what Republicans say and do over the next month. But what I can tell you is that the Biden administration and Democrats are adamant that this has to be included. This is not a pillar and we're going to build off of it, but this has to be included into this budget. So we will see. There is bipartisan support here, so that is good news. But I just wanted to address this because this was just announced that yes, the Biden administration is adamant on bringing back the monthly child tax credit payment. So again, if you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next.